Pillar to Post here on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel. Mike Gill, Tom Morgan, recap of Raw and some other cool little things that we're going to throw into the mix today because Raw has not been all that exciting. So
I was about to say,
talk about.
The cool new things are a lot more exciting than the recap of whatever we had last night. It's the Raw before, the pay-per-view after WrestleMania. So
the go-home show.
Yeah, the go-home show. But you know what? Those cool things are good stuff to talk about, so we'll get back to that. So we'll start out with Randy Orton RKOing pretty much everybody on the roster.
Yeah, they kind of took a page from that YouTube sensation of Randy Orton kind of going around and RKOing everybody.
Right, yeah.
And since he's not allowed to RKO anybody in the Extreme Rules match, he decided to take it upon himself. I'll tell you why. He had some pretty cool RKOs last night, including the one in the cage, which was phenomenal off of the top rope there. So that was kind of cool, but you kind of could see it coming that he was going to get him eventually.
Right.
That was really the highlight of the show, which was kind of a nondescript show, in my opinion. You didn't really see. Although I did think the Rusev Cena, when he's raking his face back with that chain, Cena looked like he was really in some pain, man.
Yeah, definitely. And it certainly is something that, John Cena really brings his game when it comes to these extreme matches. And to say what you want to say about Cena, whether you think he's a great wrestler or not, I still remember his match against Brock Lesnar at Extreme Rules. It was about a year or two ago that probably was one of the best matches that I've seen between those two wrestlers. So he brings it. He brings when it comes to extreme stuff.
Like him or hate him, he's the company guy. He gives you a big match feel.
Sure.
And I thought he did a great job selling that match last night. I mean, his nose was like pinned off to the side. I mean, he had to be getting...
Oh, yeah.
He had to be in pain and just was like, I got to go through with this. I can't do anything.
Yeah, right.
That had to hurt. But other than that, I mean... I don't know what really stood out. We did see New Day become the number one contender. I thought it was a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they're really actually gonna maybe have a heel turn. I mean, did you hear that crowd?
I definitely think sucks. I think they've already got it.
I think they've already got it. Yeah. So I mean, they were finding that this New Day thing really wasn't working out too well. So we gotta turn them bad guys. We hate them anyways. New number one contenders, which I was kind of disappointed at. Now I'm thinking that's Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. See, I don't even remember the guy's name, Tyson Kidd. I just don't think this match is going to be any good at all now.
Well, it's interesting. I think the New Day needs to make Xavier Woods like a manager. It's too confusing. You got these three guys.
All right, rock, paper, scissors. Which guy are going to be my top two?
Stupid. Make Big E be the big guy, and you got the high flyer with Kofi, and then Xavier Woods is good on the mic. Let him kind of be the distracting manager on the outside like he was on Raw last night. He's under the mat, holding the feet. It might work in that manner, but it's too confusing to get these three guys. But ultimately, the tag team division seems to be a mess, and that's something we're going to get into in just a little bit here. But just recapping everything last night, for the most part, nothing really stood out. Triple H was back on TV. Mm-hmm. The Kane thing is kind of interesting. What are they doing with Kane's character all of a sudden here?
Yeah, well, I think it's just as much as we had last week. As far as Kane is making that slow turn, we're not quite sure what exactly he's doing. Are
they going to set up a Kane Rollins program?
I mean, anything's possible. And they had Kane come out against John Cena for that United States Open Invitation tournament, or not tournament.
Good match, actually.
It was a good match
for two big guys.
I could see a Kane Seth Rollins thing. Kane's due for maybe like a title match, something like that.
One final push.
One final push, maybe. I don't know. Maybe bring back that mask. It's nothing they haven't done before. I could definitely see that. But I think Kane's definitely going to get involved in the Randy Orton Rollins match. I don't know in what capacity.
He's the gatekeeper.
He's gatekeeper. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But I don't think Randy Orton's going to win. Unfortunately, I think they're making him so good on Raw. Something is bound to happen. And Seth Rollins will run away with the title and run out into the audience once again.
So that was a little bit about Raw. I mean, there wasn't a lot of really standout moments other than the Randy Orton RKO and stuff. But we talked about the tag team, and one of the things we want to discuss today there's a lot of singles guys who are just kind of lost out there. They're just kind of getting not used or just getting lost in all the storylines about maybe redeveloping a tag team division. Which guys right now that are out of storylines or that we like do you think, or do we think, should maybe come together and form a tag team? Because the Usos are hurt, And right now, other than them, you don't have a lot of depth. They had to bring up the Lucha Dragons to kind of have a face tag team division.
Sure.
So who are some guys that maybe would be a good pairing that we like to see and reestablish the tag team division, which used to be so great with the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys and Edge and Christian and the Road Warriors.
Well, let me just say this. I don't think we're ever going to get back to that point, unfortunately. I think we're going to have a great tag team division. I think if they do it right, but I don't think we can ever go back to the heydays of the Dudleys and the Hardys. I think those Edge and Christians, those were the best times to watch some great tag team wrestling. I mean, even...
But I think they have some interesting talent that they can pair together and allow that to be reestablished.
Heath Slater and Eric Rowan. How about that?
I'll pass on that one. But how about, I think they've missed the boat on Luke Harper.
Yeah.
How about putting those two back together?
Yeah, I agree.
Harper and Rowan.
I agree. And I think that they disbanded that group prematurely. I think that that group was really having an identity for themselves as a tag team instead of the trifecta with them and Bray Wyatt. Why not Bray Wyatt go a separate way and Eric Rowan and Luke Harper do their own thing as a tag team? I think they really wanted to integrate that Intercontinental pool some more, and I think that's why they made Luke Harper as a singles wrestler. I think it's great for Luke Harper. I don't think it's so good for Eric Rowan.
Yeah, he's become like a jobber.
He's become a jobber, and I think he was, and that's pretty much what we expected was going to happen when they disbanded. I mean, they had him on for a while. They had him fired with Dolph Ziggler and Ryback too as well. They had him in the storylines, but he doesn't really bring me a reason to want to watch him as a singles wrestler. I think he has that identity. We're still wearing the same clothes. He still has the goat mask. Put him back with Luke Harper, and we got ourselves a tag team right there. I think the Usos are still good.
There's a lot of guys. Okay,
a lot of guys.
You got a guy like Adam Rose. We did see. Oh man, I can't remember his name. I haven't seen him on TV. Zack Ryder.
Yeah,
came out last night on TV.
Got smashed,
Rose,
but yeah.
Ryder, Fandango, Axel.
Yeah.
We got a lot of guys in that realm that they don't have anything to do with. Stardust, where are they going with him?
Mm-hmm.
So how about a Fandango Rose?
Yeah.
How about a Axel and I don't know. I mean, so if you guys have some singles people that you think should be paired up, leave it in the comments. But I think there's some the ability to kind of do this is something they're missing the boat on because there's a lot of guys that just aren't on TV and they're not doing anything with.
Right.
You got to fill 3 hours of Raw, man.
Might as well.
You got to give these guys some opportunities.
I think the Adam Rose Fandango thing is brilliant. I think it would help Adam Rose tremendously. I think Fandango is getting a new feel already. Of course, he's becoming a face for the first time, so you'd have to turn Adam Rose back. I think that no one really cares, but. Curtis Axel, he had that whole Rybaxel thing going on for a while. I like his character right now. So unless they pair him with someone like Stardust to make it really cartoony and wacky, I don't see him being a tag team wrestler. But I think they're just too premature in breaking up these tag teams. I mean, the Stardust and Goldust, the breaking up of who am I thinking of? I can't remember. Oh yeah, Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. So I think that they're too quick and they're making these fast changes, and I think it's kind of dissolving our tag team pool right there, and keep them going.
Well, and you have the Ascension that they brought up, and now they become a joke.
Exactly.
They came in and they were just kicking everybody, to the curb, and then all of a sudden they have become jobbers. So It's a shame because there are a lot of guys that you could give some more time. I would rather see, or if I'm WWE, I'm trying to find out, do I have something with some of these guys? Instead of giving me Adam Rose against Fandango, pair them up against two other guys and let the four guys get a couple of minutes on TV and see who stands out a little bit, and maybe you can develop a character from that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there was a time where I think Triple H was really trying to build on that tag team title division for a while. And then that got kind of pushed over, and then all of a sudden we're seeing a push for the Divas title, and then we're seeing it starting to push for the Intercontinental and U.S. Championships right now. And so it seems like the writing aren't quite sure where to focus on. And I think if they just write good wrestling, then all those things will be okay.
All right. Another thing we want to get into is we just talked about a lot of guys who aren't getting a lot of TV time. Who are some guys that we think should get a push? Who are some guys that we think deserve more TV time and deserve a little bit higher place on the card?
Right now, I really can't. I can't think of any. At the
Isn't
moment.
it a shame? It shows you the lack of depth.
And
at
it's
the
funny
top of the card.
because like 5 years ago, we'd be sitting here like, God, why isn't that guy getting more time? Or what? I love what they've done with Neville, even though he's lost a couple matches. Which, by the way, we didn't. Did we see him on Raw this week?
No, he was not on Raw this week.
Wasn't on Raw. I like how they've put him, but it seems like they're sticking with their roster, and there's nothing really new about it.
Well, one guy I think they've missed the boat on is Luke Harper. I think he's a guy. Now, I don't know if you can really have him be your champion with his look. If you're representing the company outside.
Right.
So I don't know what they can do with him. I mean, but I think he's so talented, and he's got the size, and you wonder if they can somehow morph him into almost like they did back in the day with Foley, where he was like the corporate Mankind, and he had like the suit on, but it was like all disheveled. He's a guy that I think they've missed the boat on a little bit. Yeah. Ambrose is a guy that I just right now don't think there's something missing from him. Ziggler's another guy. Ziggler sells too well as a guy in terms of when he takes a kick or something, he just sells too well to be established as your champion.
Well, and here's the thing, though, is that they look at the past. Now, first of all, I disagree with Ambrose. I think what they're doing with Ambrose is good. I think they're making him into that character that almost kind of like a Mankind character, but not really. He's got that kind of crazy look about him. He's had some excellent matches. They did that with Dolph Ziggler already. He was in the main event push. He had the world title. He had a feud against John Cena a couple of years back when he was with AJ Lee. Back when Big E had his debut, and it was Big E Langston. He was a bodyguard for Dolph Ziggler. So, so they look at the past and say, I don't know. There's a lot of B+ talent right now. And I think right now they're just kind of waiting and seeing if these guys will ever sprout out. That's why Roman Reigns doesn't have the title right now.
Well, you wonder if they're just buying some time for some of these NXT guys to make the jump, because there's some guys down there, with Kevin Owens and
Sami
Zayn and what's his name? I can't think of his name. Oh, Finn Balor.
Yeah.
Those guys right now probably would jump right to the top of the card
if
they made their way to Raw. Unfortunately, they have such a thing going on in NXT. I don't know that they want to mess that up right now either. But another guy that
who would you put in NXT? Exactly.
Right. Well,
you want to have a show.
Yeah, but I think the WWE they're announcing Tough Enough, a new show that they're going to find some more people. They can just start grabbing people from the Indies or from. Dude, TNA is in some big trouble. Taz just quit the show. I mean, he basically said he wasn't getting paid on time, so he decided to part ways. A lot of people in the production team said they're not getting checks. They're 60 days behind. I mean, this sounds like the old ECW. Now there's some conversation that TNA is having some problems with Destination America, that they have too much control, that they want to make certain guys the champion because of the way they look, and they want to promote them better. They've moved. Originally when they got this deal, it was because they were going to have all these properties. Well, they've moved the TNA Unlocked show. Used to be on Saturday mornings. They've now moved that to Friday night at 1 a.m. They used to have TNA Greatest Matches on. That show's already been canceled. So it sounds like there's some problems going on with TNA, so maybe some of those guys would become available. Plus, you got the Lucha Underground show, which is in trouble. They have not been picked up for a second season on El Rey because of financial problems there.
Well, you can't make an entire channel out of crap. You can say, wow, you got all this time to watch TNA. Like, it's on almost every night in a different show, almost every night. But it's as long as you're selling crap, you're going to get crap.
Well, when they were on Spike, they were getting about 1 million viewers a week. And Destination America figured, look, we'll take those million, and even if we get 500 to 600 to 700,000 of them, because Destination America is on in less homes than Spike is by a considerable amount. That being said, they're only getting about 350,000 viewers, which is less than they anticipated. And because of the product, from what I'm reading, that Discovery, who owns Destination America, the Discovery Channel, is not selling. They can't get a lot of ad dollars for that product. I mean, wrestling's a hard sell to begin with. Now you got a second-rate wrestling program on a Friday night. They're not getting the ad revenue that they had hoped to get from TNA. Now, Lucha Underground is on the El Rey network. they're having problems. They can't get financial backing there. The New Japan show that was on Access, they're being put on hiatus for a little bit. But you do have Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore got a TV deal regionally. And Jeff Jarrett Global Force has just announced some live dates as well. But that being said, there's talent that probably is looking to get out of their current situations.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, Samoa Joe is one of those guys that
he's in Ring of Honor right now.
He's in Ring of Honor, which is a great move. I'm a big fan of Ring of Honor. I really do think that it's the beginning and the end for these guys. And I think that, surely they could still probably do, whatever, like Ring of Honor, that sort of thing, because they're only housed in Florida, and they could still do their thing there. But, I wonder how many other channels were trying to actually get TNA.
I don't think too many.
I don't think too many. I heard rumblings that AMC was trying to get in the wrestling business.
Well, there is some talk that Billy Corbin was seen in Nashville. He was going to buy them about 18 months ago when they were for sale, and then all of a sudden Dixie Carter and Panda Energy is the provider of TNA that pays the bills, basically. Mm-hmm. They decided to keep it. But we'll see. They're on life support there. But, WWE's got the market cornered, and there is no clear-cut number 2 right now. And that's why they can put out a product like they did last night.
You hit it on the nail. They have no competition. And once you have competition, and very few times have we seen real competition against the WWF.
And I don't think we ever will again.
Yeah, I don't think so, too. I think that burial of WCW back in 2001 was such a pivotal moment for Vince McMahon that after all that happened, wrestling in the WWE just kind of slowly went down its downward spiral. They had the invasion. They had a few good, decent matches. You had the John Cena in the OVW era, Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton. But the storylines, the need to focus and every single part of the show was compelling. So now I think that's part of the reason. I think the other part of the reason, and I'm not a fan of the PG-rated WWE product. I know a lot of people are for it because it's all about family friendly and sports entertainment and whatever. But people watch wrestling to watch wrestling. And people love the storylines, and that's why the Attitude Era was so good because, hey, that's what we loved.
Never going to see that come back again. Although last night Randy Orton was very Attitude Era-esque.
Yeah.
Him just kind of coming out. It was like Stone Cold, like coming out of nowhere and like,
right.
Here I am, hosing you down with the beer truck.
And maybe that's what they're trying to do with Randy Orton now as a face. It'd be very interesting to see that. We're going to see what happens with Kane, most likely at Extreme Rules, I'm sure. Are we going to see the demonic Kane again, or are we going to see still that same human look, but a little bit more badass? So we'll have to see what happens.
All right. Well, a lackluster Raw, but Extreme Rules is coming up, and let's real quick. What is the card? And we got to give our picks.
Yeah, we got Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. I'm going to go with Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I think Rollins will continue on, and I think that should set up something. It's interesting. When's Brock Lesnar going to get back in? Probably SummerSlam. So after Extreme Rules, do they bring him slowly back in to kind of work his way to get revenge on Rollins? Yeah. So I think Rollins, retains.
I'm going to go with Rusev against John Cena. I'm going to say Rusev maybe winning the title. I would hope he does. But I think my gut's saying Cena's going to win. I don't want it to happen. That's why I'm torn right now.
It's hard because you think Rusev gets over Cena to jumpstart into a Intercontinental or even maybe the championship, but it's going to be hard for him to do that if he's got the belt on him. It's an Extreme Rules match. I think Cena probably holds the belt here, but in a way that Rusev looks strong enough to kind of break himself away from Cena.
Right.
And so I'll probably take Cena because I think they want to have him with some sort of gold around his waist. Why, to keep that lower mid-card, because he's basically a mid-carder now.
Sure. Yeah. And again, we had that mid-card, if John Cena's a mid-card or not, debate a few episodes ago here on Pillar to Post. But
his stature isn't, but his place on the card is.
Place on the card is, yeah. We're going to have Cesaro and Tyson Kidd versus New Day. Oh, man, what a shame. Could be a great tag team match for Extreme Rules. You would have a tag team turmoil match. You get a couple tag teams, maybe 4 teams together, Extreme Rules match, maybe even a ladder match. I don't know.
This is on the kickoff show, by the way.
We could have had that, but now we just have New Day versus Cesaro and Tyson Kidd.
I would think Cesaro and Kidd retain here unless they want to break those two guys off and enter them into the singles realm.
Right.
You know, Cesaro was a guy who was hot and then not. I don't know what happened there. Kidd, I don't think has a big, long legs as a singles guy, but I would think they retain here.
All right, and finally the Divas match. Of course, Paige, your girl, is not wrestling in this match.
She's filming a movie.
Filming a movie with The Miz. So now we've got a Divas match that we've got to settle for Extreme Rules.
Yeah, Naomi and Nikki Bella look like they're going to go and match, and I would assume that. Well, actually, I would think Naomi has a good shot to win this because the Bellas, you never know when they're going to go off of TV.
Sure.
So this might be the time to get the belt off. And also, we got the Roman Reigns Big Show match, which I don't think anybody cares about.
Right.
Last man standing. Oh, and the Kiss My Arse match with Sheamus and Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
No, I like that card. Although I think Dolph and Sheamus will be a great match.
Yeah.
Kiss My Arse, I'm not all that interested in.
Right. Yeah, and I definitely don't want to see Sheamus's arse.
Although I think his heel character has gotten over.
Yeah,
he's doing a great job, and he just.
Well, he was a good heel before. He was good. He was a great heel. I don't think he's a good face, but I think he was a great heel before, and I think this look is good for him. But back to the Divas match. One last thing: if Naomi wins, she'll be one of the few Divas wrestlers to be a 3-time Divas champion. Believe it or not. So Naomi hopefully will come away with that title. All right. Are we missing anything else? I think we're.
Unfortunately, no. I think the card's not all that excited about it.
We might see a few more matches announced on SmackDown. You never know. Dean Ambrose.
Daniel Bryant with the. There's some talk about him having some concussion issues. They pulled him off the tour, so he's not on this card right now, is he?
Yeah, I don't think so. No.
Oh, is he fighting Barrett? Yeah, him and Barrett.
Yeah, him and Barrett. Yeah. So,
but they weren't on Raw at all. Either one of those two did not appear on Raw. So no advancement in that story. Then maybe on SmackDown.
Maybe some interesting stuff's going to go down with that. There's news that Daniel Bryan actually will be on SmackDown. So we'll have to see if he addresses the situation again. We could see ourselves with a one-night only Intercontinental tournament match or something crazy like that. But and it's sad because usually we would know these matches like boom, 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 boom. But now it's just kind of like, wow, we're still on WrestleMania hangover here. So pardon us. But some good stuff I think hopefully will happen after Extreme Rules. I think Rusev should retain the United States Championship. I think Seth Rollins is going to be a good heel. And so we'll just keep on keeping on. And
he's been a great heel.
He's been a great heel. Yeah,
he played a great role Monday night too. I'm scared. All right,
you want more security. Yeah. So
it's only one guy.
Right.
So
we'll wait and see what happens. But anyway, so Extreme Rules is Sunday, Monday Night Raw Monday, and then of course WWE coming to Atlantic City very soon.
Yeah, May 16th, Boardwalk Hall, and we should have some cool interviews coming up here on Pillar to Post. Don't forget, if you have any comments on the show, leave them in the comment box below, and tell us some of the tag teams that you want to see get merged together, and some of the guys that you think aren't getting pushed enough on the card, and we'll be back next week with another. I had no WWE Network pick this week because I've been too busy. I haven't had a chance to turn the network on this week.
I will finally get the WWE Network, and I should have a WWE Network pick for you by next week here on Pillar to Post.
All right, we'll talk to you next week. I'm Mike. He's Tom. This is Pillar to Post on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel.